Okay, so here we are, just a quick tutorial on how to start editing your stuff very easily using, ooh, what's that coming off my mask? Anyway, okay, doesn't matter. So here we are, in terms of being able to use your audio software. So you'll be using Logic, most likely because you learned that in Sound Engineering 1. And you can get, if you have Logic at home, that's great. That's great. You obviously want to be able to have some kind of sound editing software at home. In my case, I use Audition, and I use quite an old version just because I'm used to it, Audition 3. But you can also use Audacity, which is for free as well. You can just go online, just download the app, and like, Bob's your uncle, right? It'll do what you need to do. So I'm going to take, what I want to do is I recently just had an interview from one of my alumni on Gateway FM. I'm going to take that recording that he sent to me. It needs a lot of work, right? And I'll just start showing you on how to just do some basic equalizing, make sure you normalize, kind of clean up the stuff. You'll see that there's a variance in volumes, etc., and then also just kind of editing what it is that you need. Or I won't edit the whole thing, all right? Just to be able to know exactly what it is that you need to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first share the screen to what I have on here. What I've done already is that I've gone to, so I love the site, it's just online-audioconverter.com, right? It's really nice because most of the conversion sites are, there's a lot of clickbait and you get a lot of pop-ups and stuff like that. This one's really cool, right? So what I do is I'm going to just open the files that I have recorded. Well, normally if you're going to record on your phone, it'll end up being an M4A, right? But unless you go and set it as MP3. Normally, if you also set it as an MP3, anything that comes from the phone, even if it's video, normally doesn't really pop up as something that is compatible, right? With some of the software. So you anyway have to go through the conversion process, but just to make sure that we're getting what we want, I'm going to take the two here and I'm going to load them up there, and I'm going to convert to an MP3 so I know that I can work with it in Audition, right? So while that is loading, I'm just going to make sure that I have the best quality that I can actually get, see what I can work with. I want to be able to do some of the editing to see whether or not like the piece is worth using, so let's say if I feel like this piece is cool, and audibly, like it sounds okay, well, better than okay, and I've done an okay job with it, then I'll load it up, let's say, for example, to Iono, right? You will use this in, for example, the voxes that you get, so the voice notes that you'll get before your show. It's just like organize them beforehand, right? Just so that you can go and obviously edit them. Not quite like live radio where we just get it and we obviously have an application that we can play it off, edit and stuff from WhatsApp or whatever it might be. But just to have some surety that you are going to do what you need to do, like on air, put some voice notes, have a live caller, etc., as well as all your pre-recorded stuff. Like, let's, for example, you have an interview that you've done, and remember, just quite like your podcasts that you're going to do, you're going to record longer, so you make sure that you can actually have some of the best stuff that you cut down to. Okay, so we're just going to convert here. So I'm going to just convert it, and I'll download it again while waiting for that, just so you can see what's happening on the screen. Great. Okay, so then I'm going to just download that. It's going to come down as a zip file as far as I can understand. Maybe not. Who knows? Okay. So there are, again, as I said, quite a lot of these sites, but this one's quite great as well. So in the F3 marketing, we will, the thing is, it's the same as being on air when you're going to live radio anyway. We don't want to be sacrificing quality and stuff. Just because you have something doesn't mean you have to use it. So be kind of mindful of that beforehand, saying, listen, yeah, if I'm going to get a couple of like voxes, for example, go on campus, I'm going to chat to some people, like I'm going to have a couple to choose from, and also be aware that you should actually test your audio equipment. In this case, for example, give you your phone, so it's kind of the easiest thing to use, and it's good quality as well, right? Test it before, play back, play back the test audio and see whether you like that. Remember, also be aware of atmosphere. Okay, so let's say loud places, a lot of people talking. You want to be able to move the person somewhere that if you want to include the atmosphere, it's kind of in the background, or you want to just get them somewhere quiet so that your boxes are clear as well, especially in the interview as well. I mean, I say particularly in interview because it's something that you organize. You know, they agree to it as well. You can see that stuff was downloaded now, but it's organized. People have set some time aside. You want to make sure that you get everything right on the first go, and so you want to be pre-prepared for that particular moment. Okay, so I'm not quite sure which one it says there 04. Let me just have a look here. 04. Was there another one? 02. Okay, so I'll grab that in just in a moment there. Okay, let me there's two. Yeah, okay, right. I'm gonna just close that off there. Let me do this because I'm gonna let me get the O2 in there as well, and I'll move over to Adobe in the meantime. Okay, all right. So now I've got this. Let me just go to my folder. So where it is, opening containing folder. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab from my downloads folder. I'm going to just drag and drop this over to Audition, which now you will be able to see. Let me just move from just share a different screen with you. New share. I'm going to go to Audition right now, right? And so the screen is actually there. It's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to take you through what is happening on this particular, this particular sound editing software. Right now, again, I'm using Audition. You can once again use Audacity, or you can use Logic if you have it at home. I would really think about not using the sound studios because they're going to be busy, right? And then you won't be able to obviously produce your content fast enough, and that's not obviously what we will accept as an excuse. Audacity is for free, and you can download it to your PC or your laptop, and you can work from there. All right, so what you see in front of you is just it's the raw audio from an interview that I was invited to by another station just this past week, and I want to just show you quickly what I did in terms of just normalizing, etc. So if I just move over here, see that I select the entire track. I go to the normalize or the dynamic. First, I'll start with dynamic processing. I use classic softly in this case, just something I'm used to. It kind of rounds off the like I said, the amplitude, and just like a bit more silky smooth effect too, right, without making it sound robotic. Do not put any effects in that make it sound unnatural in any way. I go and then I use the normalize function just to kind of get a good, like I use 100% here, a nice fully bodied, loud, it's audible audio piece before I start to edit it as well. And then I see there's a bit of variation where, with the recording itself, it wasn't so great in terms of like the quality and stuff. So I'm going to go and make sure wherever I talk, where you see there's actually lower volumes, right? I got to, if not, at the end of the day, you can't just discard like any piece of production that you're doing until you know like the finished product is maybe not good enough to place on air. Don't so you have to go through this process to see what you can and cannot use at the end of the day. Okay, so I've added a hard limiting effect to see if I can get a better feel. That looks a bit better. On like in terms of, you'll see the top and bottom, like the top and bottom lines. It looks as if though the volume is going to pitch and distort. Playing it back, it actually is okay. It's acceptable. There's no distortion, but just to make sure, I want to select the entire obviously audio file. working on there, and I'd like to normalize it down to about 80%, just in case. Again, I don't want to have something that pitches, distorts, or any of the kind. So what I do then is I move to the multi-track option, right? Every audio software that you're going to be working on will have a multi-track option. I want to make sure now that I'm going to cut and edit the best parts of what this raw audio will be. So either you got voxes, you've got a pre-recorded interview. It's always the three that I'm going to use because they're about the most common examples, or you got voice notes that you want to cut down as well. You must not be like tempted to be lazy, okay, and just use them as is. Even with the voice notes, you know you're going to get different volumes as well, different types of quality. Just always, like, so let's say with a voice note, like record 6 voice notes and use 2 or 3 of the best ones out of there. Do not sacrifice the quality of the product. You're only going to obviously I don't want to always talk about marks. You will definitely lose marks for it in the assignment, but like, you just don't want to do that on radio. It's just unacceptable. No station that you're going to work for in the future will allow you to have like bad quality, bad products, whatever it is, bad production. You have to get it right all the time, right? What I do is that what you can see me actually do, I'd love to play the audio for you, but there is some kind of difficulty doing it via Zoom and in this case, Audition. But you'll see the concept of how I just take a piece, cut out what I don't want. I then use a different channel to make it tighter. I go and I erase any kind of white noise or any waffling that might happen, or something that's not relevant, or it's just kind of boring, right? I want to be able to produce good pieces that are tight and slick and entertaining at the end of the day. It's very important to have the patience to listen to your entire recording, right? Because you will forget what was good and what was not. And so listen to the entire thing. The edits must make sense. So make sure that when you are putting them or placing them in different channels, that there's like if there's a natural breath that needs to happen, you put in the pause very naturally. Even with your podcasts that you're going to produce now, don't edit your content so that it's abrupt, so a very natural delivery. Play it back, see how you feel about it. If you don't, go a little bit deeper, zoom in, cut out the noise, and make it sound natural. Okay, so that's what I'm going to leave it at. It's that easy. You don't have to have massive expertise in sound engineering. You just need to know how to use multiple channels, right? In your multi-track, for any of your audio software that you're going to use, you need to just know the basics. Again, like, do a little bit of processing, do a little bit of normalization, right? Improve the quality if there's a bit of white noise, and then just edit it down to what you think is going to be entertaining and great content for your listener.